Hello, I'm Laura Hughes and you're watching Buckingham News live at 5. Our top stories. Buckingham tops the tables again with the Times and Sunday Times naming Buckingham University of the Year for teaching quality. Brackley residents strapped on their leathers as the motorbike festival roared into town. And to mark National Left-Handed Day, we look at how difficult it really is to be a lefty in a right-handed world. The university has participated in the National Student Survey for 11 years. This year, Buckingham achieved its highest rating yet for student satisfaction, scoring 97%. Mino Omagomi has the story.
Britain's only independent university beat Oxbridge and all other Russell Group universities. This result comes after being named the Times and the Sunday Times University of the Year for Teaching 2016. The University of Buckingham has been participating in the National Student Survey since 2005 and has come top in the UK for student satisfaction for the 7th time. Unlike other big universities, Buckingham has a small Oxbridge-style tutorial system with a very small staff-to-student ratio, ensuring that every student can receive personal attention from the lecturers and tutors. Additionally, with the open door policy, students can book an appointment to consult with their tutor or simply knock on the door to address their concerns.
Try and improve in the areas where we still have some signs of dissatisfaction and maintain, obviously, nevertheless, the very, very strong scores that we get in areas like academic support and teaching.
The university also scored highly in other areas, including 97% of students saying that the staff were good at explaining course material, and a further 96% saying that they could contact staff when they needed extra help. 2016 has certainly been a successful year for the University of Buckingham, celebrating 40 years as the UK's only private university and topping the tables yet again for student satisfaction in the National Student Survey. This is Mina Omagomi, Buckingham News.
Makeup brand Illamasqua are launching an eye pencil and blush collection to raise funds for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. The charity aims to challenge prejudice and intolerance towards people of alternative subcultures. Elisa Lee has the story.
On 11th of August 2007, 20-year-old Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Robert Melby, who identified as Goths, were kicked, stamped on, and left unconscious for nothing more than looking different. Sophie later died from her injuries. Sophie's mother, Sylvia Lancaster, founded the foundation to honor Sophie's legacy. In tribute to Sophie Lancaster, the Illamasqua makeup brand has brought up a new line, which includes eye coloring pencil in Sophie Jet Black and powder blusher in Sophie Golden Cover Shimmer. With every purchase up to £3 will be donated to Sophie Lancaster Foundation, who they have been supporting since 2012. Illamasqua founder Gillian Keniston said, "Since those early days, our support has never wavered, and the awareness and growth of the charity itself has been phenomenal. I know that Sylvia and her colleague Kate think the world of Illamasqua, and we in turn have great admiration for them." Through the development of the educational Sophie workshops headed by youth worker Sylvia Lancaster and funds raised by the Illamasqua range are now helping teachers across the UK to educate the younger generation on being more tolerant and open-minded.
Anything that Illamasqua does relating to the Sophie Lancaster Foundation always gives us a boost. So it's a massive link for us, actually.
Illamasqua said they are proud to support Sophie Lancaster Foundation in its commitment to stem out intolerance and changing the attitude towards subcultures. This is Elisa Lee for Buckingham News.
The annual International Left-Handers Day was celebrated on August 13th. This day was created to raise awareness about those who are living with a dominant left hand in a right-handed world. Rabia Superboy has the story.
Whether it's using a pair of scissors, writing without smudging the ink, or even opening a tin of tuna, being left-handed means doing any of these regular everyday activities can prove to be a Herculean feat for around 10% of the world's population. However, it's not all bad news for lefties. Research suggests that they are more prone to being smarter, more creative, and having the upper hand in sporting activities. The Lefties Club is made up of some of the world's most renowned iconic figures, from Paul McCartney to Leonardo da Vinci. Even 5 of the last 7 US presidents have been left-handed, including Barack Obama. We spoke to some left-handers to see what they found most challenging.
The most challenging thing about being left-handed is cutting vegetables and writing with pen. Scissors are always difficult. They seem to be made for right-handed people. They just say switch them round, but I actually have to use my right hand, which is very difficult.
I was born left-handed, but I've had to use my right hand because I was basically taught at school to use my right hand more than my left.
So to show solidarity for all Southpaws out there, let's try to live in their shoes for a moment. I'm Rabiatu Baboy, signing off for Buckingham News.
On Monday, the Law Department was visited by Lord Scott and Sir William Gage for a talk on judicial and public inquiries. These two figures have chaired important inquiries in their histories as judges and shared their experiences with Buckingham's law students. Caspian Chalice went to find out more.
A tribunal of inquiry is an official review of events or actions ordered by a government body. The inquiry is given power to question any person and request any document to uncover the truth. Lord Scott of Foscote and Sir William Gage gave an informed speech last Monday on the practices of judicial inquiries in the UK. Both have worked on prominent inquiries in their times as judges, with Lord Scott working in 1992 on the case of British companies selling arms to Iraq in the 80s, and Sir William in 2003 chaired an inquiry into the death of Baha Musa, an Iraqi civilian who died in the custody of British soldiers.
The question of the conduct of inquiries is a never-ending one. All inquiries are of course different, and the procedure to be adopted at any inquiry must be conditioned to some extent by the nature of the inquiry and what it's inquiring into.
And so, with the help of Lord Scott and Sir William, the law students have learned from the first-hand experience of these veterans into the inner workings of judicial inquiries. This is Caspian Chalice for Buckingham News.
In other news, the Law Society's negotiations competition has been renamed in honour of Adnan Kasi, a former president of the Law Society who was killed in a recent bombing attack in Pakistan. The Adnan A. Kasi negotiation competition is now heading into the first round of semi-finals. A mystery team comprised of national negotiation champions has been added to the competition and participating in rounds for competitors to test themselves against national standards. The competition will be taking a short break this week before resuming rounds next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. in the OTM. The University of Buckingham student union elections are drawing closer, and the candidates are gearing up for the election campaigns. Only 3 of 8 seats are contested for this election, an improvement from last year where only 2 seats had multiple candidates running. Candidates have taken to the election with an incredible calm, as no campaign posters have been found and no hustings over the contested spots have taken place. The SU elections will take place on Wednesday the 24th of August in the OTM. The current student union president, Philip Noran, has some advice for the candidates.
Be proactive, talk to people. Word of mouth is your best weapon.
In the early hours of Sunday morning, firefighters attended 3 separate calls for arson in Buckingham. The Thames Valley Police and Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes Fire and Rescue Service are working to find the culprits. The crew commander on the team who dealt with the fires, Kieran Thomas, spoke to Buckingham News about the recent events.
Even though they might look like they're waste, they are someone else's property, they're still owned by someone. And the likelihood of the fire that they've caused spreading to adjacent properties and causing a larger, more devastating fire, the risk is quite high.
Snapchat. What started as an app to send endless selfies to your friends has now evolved into the latest news and communication platform. With the University of Buckingham's Caribbean Society hosting a Snapchat-themed party, we send Joanna Lynn to find out how Snapchat is redefining our social interactions.
Snapchat is an image messaging and multimedia mobile application that was created by Evan Spiegel, Bobby Murphy, and Reggie Brown in 2011 while studying at Stanford University.
The app has evolved through a number of updates and added features, such as private message, audio and video message, branded publications, and live stories of current events around the world.
The idea of Snapchat is to allow individuals to share their daily life with their friends and followers through 5 to 10-second images and videos. Users can also add filters that change the color of the pictures or videos, and they can even animate their selfies with dog faces. Users can choose either to send it to selected contacts where the image can only be viewed once before it disappears, or add to my story that allows the videos and pictures to be viewed by any numbers of times by all the users' contact within a 24-hour period. We asked people at the party what they thought about Snapchat.
Well, I think the advantages of Snapchat, and definitely one of the USP of the entire application, is the fact that they're instant and they don't last for a long time.
I quite like how you can do all the filters, especially now that we've got the University of Buckingham ones as well, which is quite cool.
It's pretty social, you get to see what your friends are up to, and it's fairly secretive as well.
It's a really useful tool if you're planning events. It's a lot better than Facebook, it's a lot better than Twitter, and I think as SUs go on, I think Snapchat's going to be the most important social media app that they use.
Snapchat is not just another photo sharing app, but also a new way of communication and staying on trend amongst the younger generation. This is journaling from Buckingham News.
After 30 years, one of Buckingham's iconic buildings has been transformed into a modern wine bar and restaurant. Tyler Cock has the story.
Refurbished and restored, this iconic building on Wells Street turned into the Garage, a brand new dining establishment that promises great food, great drinks, and great service. This iconic building in Buckingham used to be a Presbyterian chapel, a school, a meeting house, and a garage.
At the moment, we didn't really have anywhere nice to go, and this is definitely a nice, more upmarket place to go.
Caters for the children, caters for the adults, so it's a very well-used building, I think well done inside.
I think it's a stunning design, I think it's been beautifully done, and I can't wait to come here with all my friends.
While refurbishing of the building, old letters, coins, and other paperwork dating back to the 1820s were found and are now recycled at the Old Jail Museum in Buckingham Town.
Basically, it was born out of a requirement that my husband and I had when we moved to the area. We really felt that there was a gap in the market for somewhere with a chilled feel, serving great fresh food and great wines and cocktails in a relaxed and contemporary atmosphere.
The people of Buckingham will be able to feel a rich history in the garage while enjoying a hot cuisine. This is Tyler Cock reporting for Buckingham News.
Now over to sport with Rabia Tuba-Boy.
Thank you, Laura. The Buckingham Sports Union, the BSU, has been conducting society elections over the last 2 weeks, preparing committees for the next 12 months. But not all sports will be able to continue. Maurice Mushigo has the story.
2 sports societies have gone into dormancy, whereby they do not have the number of members nor a valid committee to be able to feasibly continue operation after the BSU Society elections of the last fortnight. Both the netball and cricket societies have become dormant, thus will not be able to run until a new committee is found. According to the BSU constitution, societies must have at least 3 members on their committees in order to be able to operate.
Dormancy refers to basically the freezing of a sports club. They don't run any formal activities, they're not taking active memberships, but their accounts are frozen.
7 sports societies, namely football, badminton, cheerleading, rugby, polo, basketball and med sports will continue to run after the elections, but it is the loss of netball and cricket which will deprive some of sporting opportunities.
Within the next 6 months, a group of students come forward that would like to restart the society, submit that to the Buckingham Sports Union, who'd hopefully then approve it.
With a September intake less than a month away, those societies struggling for members will be able to boost their participation in their sports. This is Maurice Mushigo, Buckingham News.
That's it for the Sports Roundup this week. Now back to Laura in the studio.
It's been 6 months since the Western Valentine's Day in February, but more love could be just around the corner as the Chinese Society held a celebration for China's Valentine's Day equivalent that was celebrated throughout the Chinese culture last Wednesday. Yuan will guide you through the Chinese Festival of Love.
Chinese Valentine's Day is also known as the Qixi Festival. It originated from the romantic legend of the cowherder and the wayward girl. Their love was not allowed because the wayward girl is a fairy from heaven and the cowherder is a mere human. They were banished to opposite sides of the galaxy. Once a year, on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month, a flock of magpies would form a bridge to reunite the lovers for one day.
People have been celebrating the Qixi Festival since the Han Dynasty. On the special day, lovers gather together to confess and show their love to each other. For people who are single, it is also a great opportunity to confess their love to someone they like, or just simply gather with friends to celebrate it.
In China, people celebrate Qixi in several ways, such as couples having a candlelit dinner or preparing a surprise for their partner.
It's getting international nowadays in the world, so Chinese people are learning Western stuff. At the same time, they also want to keep the tradition as it is, so they really enjoy this Chinese Valentine's Day.
To express your love to a Chinese girl, you must learn some essential vocabulary. Hey, I really like you. Would you like to go out with me sometime? To translate it into Mandarin will be, 美女，我真的很喜欢你，你愿意当我的爱人吗？
Well, it is not a guarantee to confessing love to someone on Qixi will always be a success, but it's worth a try. This is Yuan Yuan for Buckingham News.
The annual Play Around the Parishes Day hosted by Aylesbury Vale District Council returned to Buckingham last week after last year's success. Aylesbury Vale is looking to host more events like this. Karen Iogwe has the story.
Now in its 7th year, Aylesbury Vale District Council once again hosted their Play Around the Parishes in Chandos Park. A range of sports and art activities including bouncing castles and playcrafts were there for the children from ages 1 to 11. Being no stranger to the bad weather, the organisers made sure to have everything covered, including a backup location to cover the children from the temperamental British summer. Being hosted in 39 parishes across the county, the event has been well received by children and adults alike, who may be struggling to keep their kids entertained over the summer holidays. The event is supported by Sure Start for Children Centres, Action for Children, Box Play Association and Aylesbury Vale District Council.
Well, when the weather's good like this, you can play sports with the kids, show them the circus tricks, and it's just nice seeing that the parents have fun with their kids.
For those that may have missed this week's Play Around the Parishes event, do not despair. There are 2 more events to be held here in the coming weeks, as well as other locations throughout the county. This is Karen Iogwe for Buckingham News.
The Brackley Festival of Motorcycling was last Sunday and it saw crowds of motorheads gathering to admire and parade their fine machineries. Sherwin Town has the story.
It began with a ride-in where motorcyclists gathered at the Triumph factory in Hinckley, Leicestershire and rode down to arrive in Brackley for the event's 10 a.m. start. The festival featured stunt riders, display teams, off-roaders, manufacturers, road racers and racing celebrities wandering through the open paddock and finishing at a static display area to see the special machines up close.
Attractions on the day included a wall of death, an extreme mountain bike display in the main arena by Buckhamstead Motorcycle and Car Club and Mr. Showtime's Steve Colley. There was also a variety of different stalls and attractions for children and motorcycle enthusiasts.
There were plenty of big names to thrill the hearts of fans. Ducati, Moto Guzzi, Suzuki, Yamaha, Triumph, and of course the iconic Norton Commando. But the star of the show was the Honda RC213 VS. At £138,000, the world's most advanced and exclusive road bike, and one of only 10 in the UK.
It has grown significantly each year as the event has passed through different incarnations as we've tried to include more variety from simply just race bikes on the high street. We're now including lots of off-road classic scramblers and trials bikes, Yamaha and Honda, who've been with us for a long time and have gradually increased their support for us.
The annual event raises money for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance and local charities. Record crowds at last year's festival resulted in a £31,000 payout to the charities.
Oh, lovely whip!
The Brackley Festival of Motorcycling began in 2008 as a dream for motorcycle enthusiasts to meet up and share their ideas and projects. With the support of the community, it's now grown to enormous proportion and looks to continue growing. This is Sherwin Tan, Buckingham News.
The 16th of August was National Rum Day in the United States, but that tradition is now starting to make its way to the UK. We sent Scott Stanley to make everybody's favourite rum cocktail, a classic mojito.
Since Sir Francis Drake first sailed to Havana in 1586, the British Navy and the pirates have famously drank cheap rum with mint and lime juice to fight off scurvy. And that's why today, I'll be preparing for you the Mojito cocktail on this National Rum Day. You will need the following ingredients: crushed ice, 7 to 8 mint leaves, half a lime, 50 milliliters of white rum, a tablespoon of sugar, and a dash of soda water. Gently roll the lime to bring up the juices. Then cut off the end of the lime, followed by another centimeter or so. Now cut the slice into 4. Now take your 7 to 8 mint leaves. Give the mint leaves a little smack. Place the leaves in the glass and then add the tablespoon of sugar. Gently mash the ingredients in the cup about 8 times using a small flat surface, like the end of a whisk. Now add your 50 milliliters of white rum and put some crushed ice in the glass. Now you can add your dash of soda water and then finally stir the cup thoroughly and then sit back and enjoy your classic mojito. Shiver me timbers, that's a good mojito. Why not try it for yourself? This is Scott Stanley from Buckingham News. Cheers.
Thank you for watching Buckingham News. We'll see you next week.